Okay, so in this video, I'm going to take a look at the new Titleist GTS lineup of fairways. We've seen the drivers, fantastic performing golf clubs. We're now going to move into the fairway wood. So we've got two models we're going to take a look at. We've got GTS2 and GTS3. Got the same shaft. We're going to flip them in. We're going to talk through the tech, the differences between these two fairway woods. We're going to hit them outside, off the grass as well as some TrackMan data in this video, so stay tuned. So as mentioned, two models, GTS2, GTS3. What's the difference? So when we look at the GTS2, and these fairway woods are very different to what we've seen from Titleist before. Totally different shape, totally different face, which we're going to come to. But the GTS2, quite a biggish sort of footprint, very much sort of squashed down, much lower profile than we've seen before. Then we've got the GTS3, as you can expect from previous model, a little bit more squat in that front to back section of the club face and a tiny bit deeper on the face as well. Maybe aimed at a different type of golfer who delivers a club a little bit differently. We're going to start off with the GTS2. So this is a 3-wood, as I mentioned, 15 degrees of loft. I've got this set at A1. So first look on the Solar Golf Club. Again, it's quite a big footprint there, and we see two screws or two weights on the bottom of the sole and split from heel to toe. A little bit different to what we've seen before in the GT range as well. So we've got 11 gram weight and a 5 gram weight. They can obviously be flippable. As standard, the 11 will come in the heel and the 5 in the toe. So into that playing position, and this is where things look totally different, and for me, in a great way. We've got a silver face, very distinctive silver face. We've always seen black faces before. The reason they've gone to silver on the face is to make it look like it's more inviting to hit, a little bit more forgiving to hit, and also looks like you can launch it. It looks like there's more loft than what there actually is because it's a brighter silver face against that dark top. This has come from Tour. Typically, the players have maybe sort of seen it and don't see as much loft. They're maybe trying to subconsciously try and put loft back on it through the swing. This has invited them to hit a little bit more down on that golf ball and get a better strike. So that's where it's come from. I like it, and I think the feedback when we've just sort of shown a few golfers this is been really, really popular. Very much stands out on that club face. Great shape by the ball, much lower profile. If you look at the profile of face now, much shallower than what we've seen before and much flatter on the sole. That's the massive thing for me. Previously, Titleist fairway woods have been very rounded. I didn't really suit them. I didn't really like the way they sat. This sits much lower profile. Looks easier to get the ball flighted, maybe from some different lies as well. So let's get a few hit. GTS2 sits a fraction toed in. I've got this set at A1. It just looks a little bit toed in to me. Obviously, you could change that through the neck sleeve. But that does fly up very easily. Nice sort of high ball flight. And it doesn't look too stally either there through the air. It looks like it's got a relatively flat flight on it. So as you can appreciate, Titleist are promoting this to be a little bit more of that higher ball flight with that more low profile head. We've got a wraparound carbon crown saving weight, producing that CG location very sort of low and deep, especially with these weighted screws or plates on the bottom. So that's obviously going to help you to get that ball flighted. And I say, definitely very inviting behind the ball to then try and launch that. So if you struggle to maybe launch fairway wood, especially from the ground, this GTS2 could be a great option. Oh, it's a little bit up the left, but that is so flighted. There, and that was a little bit low on the face, and that's flown up very nicely. So as I mentioned, we can move those weights from the heavyweight 11 gram from the heel to the toe, depending on maybe that shot shape you're looking for. We've got the Sure Fit sleeve, as we see with all the Titleist products, so we've got a real good adjustability of moving that loft up and down, as well as changing that lie angle, again, to really sort of dial in that shot ball start direction as well as shape. Yeah, it is a little bit of a different sound in golf club. So for me, I quite like what they've done with the split weights in that heel and toe. That to me makes a lot of sense in terms of creating stability, especially on those miss hits. We're going to get maybe a little bit of resistance to twist in the club face because of the split weighting system. So we sort of tend to see that a lot in the irons, don't we? You know, tungsten in the iron, but then split heel and toe. Again, that's all to try and precisely locate that CG location, but also then to try and control the twist on the club, especially on those miss hits. So I do like what they've done there. Makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, that does sit lovely. It really hugs the ground behind the ball. Very comfort inspiring. Oh, that's ripped. That's a great high ball flight, but it's not stally ball flight. That is still moving forward very nicely. So availability in the GTS2. So we've got 13.5 degree, like a little strong 3-wood. The 15 degree that I've just been hitting. We've got 16.5, that's quite a popular option. A little bit like a 4-wood. 5-wood in 18 degrees and a 7-wood in 21 degrees. They're available in both right and left hand. Okay, so let's move over now, GTS3. So as we're going to expect, we see just a little bit more of a compact head behind that golf ball and a little bit of a deeper face. So the CG location and this now is even deeper and lower than what we've seen in the GTS2. And with that slightly deeper face, typically this is a little bit more promoted for the player who might just hit a little bit more down on the golf ball. As a player with that slightly deeper face, you're going to probably get some better contacts, little bit maybe of a lower launch and a little bit more of a lower spin profile. When we look at the bottom of the club, again, the sole, we see not quite as flat a footprint, not quite as big from that front to the back, but we still see those two weights, the 11 gram and the 5 gram. Again, the 11 as standard comes in the heel. They can be switched around to suit your delivery. Sure fit sleeve. This is 15 degree and I've got it set at A1. Okay, so into that playing position. Again, we've got that silver face and it's a little bit more squat on that blade length from the heel to the toe. You can definitely see it's a little bit deeper just with the way that ball sits up and down that club face when the ball's obviously sat on the ground. This sits incredibly square, which I really like. The head's very sort of similar black gloss as we expect, GTS logo, and probably just not quite as long from that front to the back. A little bit more of a squat look. If that's something that you like, a smaller look, then you will love the look of this. Okay, that wasn't perfect. That was a little bit of a toe and that's flown very straight. Little bit of a lower profile on the flight there against the GTS2. So really technology-wise, we see very similar things to what we see in that GTS2. We've got the composite wraparound crown. Again, that's going to reposition that way. Really, the things that are changing in the GTS3 is just the size of the head and how that face has gone a little bit deeper. I've got the same shaft I've just hit in the GTS2, which is actually the new Titan from Project X. This is what I got fitted for by Titleist. Nice and stable, but doesn't feel too boardy. Oh, it's leaked that one a little bit out to the right. Sounds a little bit better for me, that. Okay, so I'm just going to hit a little bit more down on this particular shot. You know, so for a player who maybe has a bit more of a descending angle of attack with that fairway wood, this is maybe where the GTS3 might just be a little bit more beneficial with that slightly deeper face. So let's just hit one on a little bit more of a downward blow. Might be a little bit of a divot here, potentially. Oh, that's come out like a rocket. Definitely lower profile. On the flight, very forward, little bit of a divot, more of a descending blow. That felt really good. Okay, let's see it one more with the GTS3. Oh, it feels solid. That does feel fantastic. That does, for me, just sounds a little bit better than the two in a way. But yeah, post comments down below. I think the GTS2, if you want some confidence, a bit more of a lower profile, maybe play a golf course with really tight lies, or you get some more imperfections of lies, I think the GTS2 is very confident inspiring. With that silver face, lower profile, it feels like you can just launch it off some difficult lies. GTS3, again, love the shape of that, a little bit more compact, touch deeper, so if you like that, you're going to love this particular one, and a little bit of a flatter flight that you're going to see out on the golf course. So availability wise in the GTS3, they don't do the 13.5 in this model. They start at the 15, which is what I've been hitting there. They still do the 16.5 forward, the 18 5-wood, and then the 21 degree 7-wood, again, both right and left hand. So I've hit both of these in the studio on TrackMan, and you can just see a little bit of a comparison of the launch, the spin, the distance that we see, and maybe that trajectory peak height as well between these two models. There we go, GTS lineup of fairway woods. That's another strong offering from Titleist. Let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. Hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.